Alright, hello InfoWebs, talking to you again, and today I would like to talk about pie. Um, Sadly, not my famous apple pie, more pie as in your piece of the pie. Um, as far as pie, I mean, basically pie is kind of representing all the shit we have on the whole planet. Everything. From the resources we haven't even begun to develop yet, to finished products that we produce, intellectual things we produce, and everything in between. All of it all. That is the pie. And I like to kind of talk about what is your piece of the pie. And that varies person to person. Me, I'm kind of an average American, so I got a pretty good sized chunk of the pie in terms of the things that I am able to own and use and go through and all that jazz. I can basically just to measure your wealth, the stuff you have. And I kind of want to compare that to what do I deserve in terms of a piece of the pie. And I've touched on this on other videos, but I'd like to really go a little bit more in depth to it. For my personal example, I kind of believe it could be applied to pretty much everybody, but you know what? I'm going to focus on myself for now, and you guys can draw your own conclusions from that. So, in terms of what do I deserve as a piece of the pie, my answer to that would be I have way more pie than I deserve. To date, my net contribution to society has been moving some boxes around in a local grocery store, and then managing a workforce for a fair bit of time. And neither of those things have really even indirectly benefited society all that greatly. But I've been paid well for them, which to me doesn't really mesh well, you know? By doing those very specific kind of useless things, I've been able to amass more wealth than large swaths of the population will ever see in their entire lives. I mean, I don't own a house yet, but I have a car, apartment, computer, all kinds of other crap that I don't need. So I'm doing pretty well in terms of the pie scale. And really, for an American, I'm pretty poor. There are people who have many times a slice of the pie that I do. Billions of dollars worth of stuff, access to things that I can only imagine. And my question is, this is a question that isn't asked very much, but where's the fairness in that? What part of the pie do I deserve? And my answer to that would be very little for my contributions to date. I haven't really done anything that's benefited society very much. I haven't put much effort into it. I'm only going a little bit through college. That might pay dividends to society further down the road. But in terms of what I put in to the human race compared to what I'm getting out, I think there is a huge difference in that equation. And I think that's applied to a lot of people who have a large chunk of the pie. In my other video, the first one, I said as a general guideline, I don't think that one person is really going to, in their lifetime, contribute more than double someone else. And it really depends on how you view it. I mean, you take some of our super wealthy American people. I'll use Gates, his charity work aside, which is awesome, as an example. He created Windows, which is what I'm using now. It is an awesome intellectual property. It's running this video very nicely, and he got paid tremendously for it. Still does to this day. It's a great contribution, but is it really proportional to the amount of the pie that he's getting out of it? And the reason I ask that is, if he didn't create Windows, I think someone else might have. Probably not Windows. Probably wouldn't have run as well. Might have got an Apple later. Who knows? It's completely hypothetical either way. But my point is, I do not think that his one contribution of a wicked sweet operating system is worth more than the net contribution of the billions of people's worth of stuff that he has. And that's kind of an odd way to put it, but that's kind of how I look at it. And moving on from that, really just ask yourself, hey, what part of the pie do I actually deserve? Now obviously you can have some jackos who are all, psst, I'm awesome, I deserve all of the pie, that pie is mine. and that's fine. You guys will die in a generation anyway, so hopefully your kids won't be so bad. But generally speaking, I think that most of us have way more of a slice of pie than we deserve, and that kind of fuels a lot of resentment from the people who do not have as much of the pie and would like it. I, of course, advocate sharing the pie, but that's, once again, that goes into dissing private property, and when you start talking about that, people are like, you're not taking my stuff, F you. And I'm not going down that road in this video. I want to keep it a little bit more focused. And generally just the waste that is involved when we start trying to protect our piece of the pie from other people who might want it. And I got some good examples of that, of the poison pie, of things where we take perfectly good pie and poison it just so other people cannot enjoy it. And my favorite example of this is isopropanol. For you guys who are unfamiliar with the technical term, rubbing alcohol. You can go to any CVS across the land and pick it up for $1. Isopropyl is like 90% or 30%. It's a very high percent wood alcohol. Ethanol, the stuff you drink and would pay $40 for a bottle for. Yeah, it's 90% that. But then they add 10% of a poisonous type of alcohol. I forget its chemical name. I probably should have looked it up before I recorded the video. But they add that to it. They poison the ethanol so that you cannot drink it. I am not kidding. You can look this up. It's not really a secret or anything like that. So, and the thinking behind that is, well, why the hell would I pay taxes on a $50, $40 bottle of vodka when I can just go buy pretty much moonshine for $1 a bottle? So rather than having that available, well, we'll poison it, and that way we won't have to worry about them drinking it, and then we can continue charging copious amounts for alcohol. And not that I recommend drinking alcohol, but that mentality, that line of thinking of, okay, we have a good product, we have a perfectly fine usable material here, but just so people don't use it in a way that we don't want or is antisocial, we'll go ahead and poison it, we'll ruin it, and decrease its value, and that way everything will be hunky-dory. And another example of this would be digital rights. You make a video game or something like that. It can be digitally copied for pretty much free, but nobody makes money that way. So rather than just having free distribution, they will put a lot of time, resources, energy, and money into protecting it, for no other reason than to increase their piece of the pie. It's not adding more pie, it's actually taking away pie, but it's gotta be my piece, and that's why they do it. And there's a lot of waste involved in that, and that's kind of what I'm against, is the waste. We only have a set amount of resources here on the planet. I don't like the idea that we are wasting some resources just to prevent other people from getting resources. If we were all sharing the pie, this stuff would just seem as silly to everyone else as it seems to me. And going on by that, I want to talk about capitalism again, and why it works. And Bill Gates is a perfect example of why capitalism works in producing the best. When you have competition, there is a winner, and the winner is usually clearly cut. In the jungle, whoever survives is the winner. In capitalism, whoever profits is the winner. And the most profitable things are the best things. They have the most appeal to the most amount of people with money. So capitalism is an awesome way of producing the best, which I'm going to use Windows as my example, as the best operating system. It is the most profitable to date. My take on that is, though, do we need the absolute best all the time? Could we get by with Linux? Well, I probably couldn't get by with Linux very well, at least not now. But I think in general as a society, yeah, we could. We don't need the best of everything. We do not need the best designed car. We do not need the best designed whatever. I mean, obviously you don't want to be driving around shrapnel mobiles or anything like that have an exterior gas tank coating or crazy shit like that. But the other thing is, we don't need the absolute best. We don't need to put so much time and resources into creating competing things and have them fight in capitalism to get the best. We can just make one and it's fine. And we can improve upon that one as much or as little as we need to, but we don't need to spend all kinds of wasted resources in making a whole bunch of other things to have them fight each other, capitalism style. There's a lot of waste in that I don't think is particularly necessary. And I'm going to be running out of time soon. So basically, to recap, we should share the pie. I mean, I know it's a left-wing liberal type of thing. Everyone's crying like, freedom! We need to have choices! I don't want to be forced to drive the communist mobile you're talking about. Well, force is kind of a strong word. But the trade-off is, do we really want to put our limited resources to use developing all kinds of other things when they could be put to use for more practical purposes, I'm thinking? Like I said before, all the people who are working in the auto industry, we cut it in half. Instead of making 70, 80 different cars, make 3 for various personal situations. We have a truck for constructional type stuff. We have a van for people transport. We have a mini car for people who don't like to carpool. I don't know. Shitty ideas, but whatever. And the rest of the people, put them to something better. Send them to school, have them start curing cancer. There is a lot of jobs where I really like that idea for. Advertising is one I like to pick on a lot. We have a lot of smart people in advertising and finance, and because capitalism values that. Marketing is key for selling products, which is key for survival. So capitalism values that stuff very highly, get paid well, a lot of money going into those fields. But in terms of their net gain to humanity, I'm not really convinced. I think that if we took all the brain power that was going on in getting me to buy a new shirt, and we put that instead towards, researching particle physics, curing diseases, I think that we'd have a lot better society moving forward, and we would be able to progress our technology a lot faster moving forward, which in turn would actually give us a much better pie. But it also requires forward thinking and it requires a little bit of forward thinking, and us who currently have the large share of the pie. And I'm not talking we got protests going on about the 1%ers. I'm not talking. The 1%ers are included, but they're not. They're in pretty much the same boat as everyone else who is taking way more of the pie than they really deserve. And that's kind of a question you got to answer for yourself, as I did. What part of the pie do you deserve? And the way I look at it is my net contribution to the planet versus what I am taking out of the planet. And currently, that is a pretty big minus in the taking out column. I'm slowly but surely trying to work to rectify that, but I probably never will. I'm probably indebted to the planet more than I'll ever be able to help it out. God knows I ain't curing shit anytime soon, so. But it's at least something to think about. That's all. And that's the point of these videos. So, thank you for listening, Internet. I am out.